everyone, it's the Justice family. As I was stated in my previous video in the Amazon truck, I just wanted to talk, and I was telling you that I'm going to try to get my wife and talk about fruits, and here she is.
Hey! You ready?
Yeah, good.
Okay, so Kenny came to me and said that he wanted me to talk about a dream that I had maybe 2 weeks ago, and I woke him up out of his sleep because the dream was just so strange to me, some of the things that were happening. And when I woke up, I went to the restroom, and then I was praying, asking the Lord, give to me an understanding of what you want me to learn out of this dream, because I was trying to figure it out for myself, and it was just too difficult. And so I was praying, and I kept asking him, Lord, speak to me, tell me what you want me to know. What is it that you're trying to tell me? And so I woke him up. I think he woke up because I went to the restroom and it woke him up. And so then he was kind of awake, and I was talking to him, and I was describing the dream to him just to see, talk it out with him and see if he had any insight. And as I was describing the dream to him, it's like everything started coming to me, like the Holy Spirit was speaking to me and showing me exactly what it was he was trying to tell me.
Oh my God.
Now, the part that Kadeem is talking about, that was like towards the end of the dream, because this was like a whole long dream. But he only wanted me to discuss the part about the rotting fruit. At one part of the dream, I was sitting and we were in a house, not where we live now, and I was sitting in the living room with one of Kadeem's cousins, one of his close cousins, and we were talking. And then it's like I got up out of my seat and walked over to a humongous bowl of fruit. It was like the size of a big fish tank, but it was a bowl of fruit. And it was a clear bowl. And at the bottom of the bowl, there were, it was all different types of fruit, like apples, bananas, pears, all different kinds. At the bottom of the bowl, there were ripe fruits that were good to eat. But on top of those fruit, at the top of the bowl, were rotting fruit that was going bad. It was already like brown and started like to have a stinky smell. And in the dream, it's like I was just sitting there staring at the bowl of fruit, and it's like time froze. We were just sitting there, and I was just watching the fruit, and then behind the bowl of fruit was a mirror, and I looked up into the mirror in my dream, and I was just staring at myself. And I knew it was something about the fruit in my dream, but I couldn't figure out what it was. And so then I woke up, and I was asking Kadeem, why is it that I was in the dream talking to, your cousin, and then I get up out of my chair and I'm walking around in the living room, and I just stand in front of a bowl of fruit, and it's just like I just couldn't move from in front of that bowl of fruit. And we were discussing it, and then it just started coming to me that the Lord was telling me, this is a representation of the world, this bowl of fruit. And in this bowl of fruit, my children are in this bowl of fruit. They are the fruit, and the good fruit is on the bottom, and on top is the rotting fruit that's going bad. And so I don't know, most of y'all probably know that when you have a bowl of fruit that you're going to eat, when some of the fruit starts to go bad or mold, when it's touching other fruit, that good fruit starts to then go bad and mold and rot. And before you know it, you have a bowl full of rotting fruit. Mm-hmm. And so that was like a representation that in this world we have a lot of good people, but the bad people, the bad things that are going on in this world right now is affecting the good fruit. And if you are not careful and you are not trying to do the best, to stay close to God, you will be just like those people in the world that are living for the devil, and you'll be easily influenced, and you'll be living for him too. So essentially, if you're good fruit and you have rotting fruit surrounding you, eventually you will start to rot too. So it's just a lesson that we need to be very careful of who we are surrounding ourselves with, who are we listening to and being influenced by. And a good example is, sometimes we are so careful as Christians, or people trying to live for Christ, when we're careful not to offend anyone, and that's good. You shouldn't be trying to offend other people or judge other people, but also you need to stand for what you know is right and be okay with that, and don't feel like you have to be afraid to state your belief or your opinion. And in the world that we're living in now, a lot of people don't like Christians because they feel like Christians are judging other sets of people and their beliefs and what they believe. And when in actuality, yes, there are some people that are judgmental, but not everybody's judgmental. I mean, I might not believe in a certain thing, but that doesn't mean that I have to pressure it on someone else. I can still show them love, care, and kindness, and just have that belief for myself. So that's just what it is. But at some point in your life, you're going to go through some things and you're going to have to stand. Whether you want to or not, you're going to have to make a choice. Am I going to stand on my position, or am I going to take down? In the end, that's what it's going to come to. So I just think that dream was really showing me, as I'm looking in the mirror, it's making me reevaluate myself. I'm looking at myself in the mirror in this dream, and I'm like, okay, Lord, why am I staring at myself in this bowl of fruit? What are you trying to show me? And, I feel like the Lord is trying to tell me, Jerrion, you need to reevaluate yourself, and it's okay to be kind. It's okay to be accepting. But don't change yourself for acceptance or just to please somebody else, because the main person that we want to please is God and Jesus. And then after that, the person that I'm supposed to be pleasing after God and Jesus is my spouse, which is Kareem. And then after him, it's my kids. And then after them, it's my mom and my family. But beyond that, so the lesson in this dream that me and Kareem were discussing is, Jesus is coming soon. And I know you've been hearing that your whole life. Jesus is coming soon. Probably since you could, understand it in church. But it's really an example that life is short, and we don't have time to say, well, I'll do it later. I'll get it right later. And, God is forgiving, and he is. But we have to look at it like this. If Jesus was to come today, right now on the cloud, would I go to heaven? If, I was to die today, because not everybody gets sick and has all these months knowing that they're going to die. You can get in your car and try to leave to go to work and be hit by a semi-truck and die. And I'm not trying to be vulgar. I'm just saying there's so many different variables. You don't know. Nobody knows how they're going to die. But if you were to die right now, where would your home be? So the rotting fruit is a representation of evil, of the devil, of the bad things of this world. And the good fruit underneath is a representation of God's children. Now, just because that rotting fruit can affect that good fruit, that doesn't mean that we can't get that rotting fruit out of the bowl. And what I mean by that is, we as Christians need to shine our light, to the world, to everyone. Me and one of Kadeem's other cousins have been discussing about, charity, helping other people that might be less fortunate. And am I rich? Is she rich? No, we're not. But we have that passion in that heart, like it really is something on our hearts to help someone else who needs it. And I feel like a lot of times now, I look at a lot of things, and me and Kadeem, we discuss so much stuff, but sometimes we'll go in a grocery store, or we'll go to the store, or we'll go somewhere out of our home. And sometimes we'll come home and discuss how people interact with each other now in the world. Everyone's in a hurry, trying to get where they're going. You know, and a lot of people have less empathy and remorse and care for other people's feelings, you know. Like, if you really consider when you go in the store, a lot of times people don't want to hold the door for you. They don't want to say, excuse me, or if somebody's trying to reach something, they don't want to help them. Or if you see someone elderly or a child trying to lift something or need help, you know, they don't want to do it. And I understand stranger danger. I understand COVID-19. I understand all of that. But it's even the way that people interact and speak with each other is just not always very kind. And I see a lot of changes from the time I was a child to how I am now. So we just got to reassess ourselves and say, am I doing this for the glory of God? Like what I'm doing. Because I know road rage, yeah. When I was younger, road rage was bad for me. So when somebody cuts me off or pulls out in front of me or rides my bumper, sometimes that can be very irritating for me. But I have 4 kids in my car, and I have to tell myself, you know, it's not that serious. If they want to go around, they can go around. I'm not going to race anybody, and I'm not going to ride anybody's tail. If they get out in front of me and want to drive slow, then I'm just going to have to be patient in the situation. And I feel like that's what a lot of us are losing is our patience. We're losing patience and empathy. And we're more caught up in our own lives than, or am I doing this for the glory of God? What is God going to think about this? That's what my husband always says, and my kids be like, what is he talking about? He always say, we want to give God a sweet smell and aroma in his nostrils. And the kids are like, what? God is smelling me? No. We want him to be proud. We want him to say, oh, you know, that's my child. I'm very pleased with them. And, you know, it's going to get to where God is so angry with the world that's why Jesus is going to come back. We don't want God to be angry with us. I mean, nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes, and that's what I teach my kids. Everybody has their days. We all do things that at times we shouldn't, but it's about making it right, asking the Lord, forgive me, Lord, and working each day to be better. Each day. So essentially, that's all. That's basically what the dream was about with the fruit. And we want to be the good fruit. We want to bear good fruit. We want to be an example to our others. And we want to make God proud. And, you know, like I tell Kadeem all the time, because a lot of times he'll feel discouraged, like what he's doing is not enough and it doesn't matter. And I have to tell him, you know, ministering, being a minister of Christ, yes, there's ministers that have a license to minister, but to me, ministering, you can minister in many ways without having a license to minister. When you are kind to someone who needs it, a shoulder to lean on, you know, be led by God, and he will lead you to the things and the people that you need to do things for. And you may not feel like you've done anything for somebody, but really in actuality, you do not know unless that person comes and tells you, thank you for talking to me the other day. You know, I was suicidal and just you talking to me really helped me. Thank you for, you know, taking me and my child, dropping us off at the doctor's office because they really needed to go. And, you know, but you don't know. You really don't know what you do or say that could really help somebody. That's why you need to be praying and asking the Lord to lead you. And a lot of times, you know, you may feel like what you're doing is not enough, but as long as you know you're doing it with a pure heart and you're really trying to help someone, or you're really being kind out of just who you are and who God made you to be, kind, that is a blessing in itself. It really is. And being that in someone's life can really help that person to change who they are and be better. And you're going to have your days where you're going to feel like, I'm doing this for everybody else, but what about me? Like, I feel lonely, I feel discouraged, and I don't have anybody to go to. Pray. Pray. Even when you feel like the Lord doesn't hear you, pray. Even if you don't feel like it, pray. Because it's not always about your emotions. A lot of times that's part of the sacrifice of living for the Lord, is that you have to sacrifice how you feel at that moment for what you know God is telling you is right. And in the end, you will be rewarded, because no matter how bad you feel sometimes, and I mean like emotionally or even physically, God will send somebody to brighten your day, somebody to help you along the way, if you are really leaning on him and having faith in him. Because I know a lot of days it's my kids. I could be having the worst day, and one of them would just make me laugh or smile, or they would just give me the biggest hug and love. And I have two children that are very, they really pay attention. Well, I could say all three of them, but there's one of them in particular. He really pays attention to other people, and he is sensitive to other people's emotions. Even if you don't necessarily tell him what you're going through, he can sense it, and he'll come right over. And sometimes my kids will speak things that I know it's the Lord that has given it to them to tell me, because they won't know anything, and they will come right over. And me and Kim have experienced times where they would say, well, you just don't worry about it, Mom and Daddy, you know, that situation that you're going through, because, you know, God said he's going to work it out. So just don't be upset. You know, little things like that. And I'm like, Lord, you know, your miraculous works are continuing to show. And we see you even in our children. And I just want to tell the people that are not believing that, you know, the Lord is still working miracles and he's still moving because of this wicked world, the devil is a lie. God is God, and he always will be God. He's, you know, Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. Nothing's going to change about the Lord, and nothing's going to change about God. People change. He doesn't. So he's still working miracles. He's still moving. He's still making a way. The thing that has changed in a lot of people is the faith. And just because God is not answering the prayers that you want, or he doesn't answer the way you want, or that doesn't mean that he hasn't given you an answer. Sometimes he gives us an answer and we just don't want to receive that answer, or we're overlooking the answer. So I always ask the Lord, give me a confirmation. And sometimes I have to say, give me one more. I need just one more confirmation to know that this is what you want me to do, or this is what you want for my life. And he'll do it, you know. COVID-19, 2020 has been one of those, I mean, it's probably been one of the worst years of my life, and I'm not going to lie. It probably has. You know, me and Kadeem have been married for 10 years this past October. It doesn't even seem like it's been that long, but it's been 10 years of marriage. And, you know, this whole 2020 has really changed our entire life and our perspective. And we have been through a lot of storms this year that has really broke us down. But it didn't break us. It didn't get us to the point where we wanted to give up, because that'll never happen. So I think that this year has changed our perspectives, and it has actually helped us to open up our eyes in a lot of areas of our life. So I just want y'all to be encouraged, and I want everyone to just continue to do your best, to be your best. Push yourself daily to do better, be who God called you to be, because life is so short, and before you know it, you'll be looking around and you'll be saying, wow, you know, I have grown kids, I may have some grandkids, and, you know, I haven't done a lot of things that I wanted to do in my life or accomplish in Christ Jesus. And so now is the time, no matter our age, to start doing those things. Whatever God is calling you to, or you feel like he's calling you to do it now. Start now. Because why wait? What are we waiting for? So that's all I had to say. I hope y'all were encouraged, and I hope that spoke to somebody, and because it definitely spoke to me. And so yes, my husband had to tell me, because I forgot his little motto. He says, keep pressing, be encouraged, and
Your story has not ended.
Oh, she said, keep pressing, be encouraged, and your story has definitely not ended. We love y'all.